Long, long ago, there lived an old widower in the beautiful village of Nuni named Toko. Toko had been married for only 5 years when his wife died. The couple had no children, and the hunter chose not to remarry. He went hunting in the dark forest with his trusted 2-year-old parrot named Mboma. The hunter had taught his parrot how to speak, and later the parrot developed a liking for singing. Boma would sing all evening to his master after they retired from selling their game in the market. Sometime later, the hunter became very sick. Since he had no family and lived in an isolated hut, no one could help him recover. When he felt his strength was failing, he spoke to his trusted parrot, Mboma.
Mboma, my boy, this is the end of the road for me. I wish I had someone to entrust you to, but I don't. Fly away and keep yourself safe. Your gift of speech will be your strength.
And so the hunter breathed his last. The parrot was sad. He would not leave his master's home, for he was a loyal bird. Every day he would go out in search of food, but return to his master's home. His days became gloomy, and for months on end, he neither spoke nor sang. Some kilometers away lived a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Amby. They were relatively rich, highly competitive, and lacked proper child upbringing. Their friends and family tried to help them, but they refused any help, saying they would raise their children the unconventional way. They had a daughter and two sons named Ada, Ade, and Chima. The couple owned a very large plantation and planned to will it to one of their eldest children, Ade or Ada. They informed their children about their intentions and gave them a task to fulfill. In the dark forest grew a special green pumpkin plant, which the parents wanted to use to start a pumpkin farm. The two oldest children were tasked with finding and harvesting two pumpkin fruits from it. The person who returned first would get the largest share of the plantation. If both returned at once, they would get equal shares. And if only one person returned with it, that one would have the plantation to him or herself. Ade and Ada set out together. Ada, the older sibling, was different. She saw no need for such dangerous and unhealthy competition. So she suggested that they work together and each bring back a pumpkin fruit in order to share the plantation together, to which Ade readily agreed. The journey was a tough one as they encountered snakes, crocodiles, wild insects, and poor weather till they reached the heart of the forest where this rare and lone plant stalk grew. They were astonished to find just one pumpkin fruit on it. Ada was an experienced gardener and rock climber, so she devised a method to pluck the pumpkin from the stalk that grew on top of the hill. Ada and Ade worked together and they successfully plucked the pumpkin. With excitement, they began journeying back home. On their way back, they started discussing how they would approach their parents with only one pumpkin. Ada suggested that they tell their parents the stalk only grew one pumpkin, but if they didn't believe them, as the older sibling, she would hand the pumpkin to her parents, and when the plantation is handed to her, she would give half of it to her brother Ade. Ade didn't seem happy, but no complaints were made. During this time, Boma the parrot had spotted them while searching for food, and decided to follow them closely and listen in on their conversation. When they reached the end of the black bush that led out to the village, Ade told Ada that he would like a moment while he eases himself. As she waited, she decided to explore the area but fell into a deep hole. When Ade returned, he heard his sister Ada crying out for help from the hole, but he chose to fill the hole with stones and ground. After he was done, he continued the journey home while Mboma the parrot was watching. Ade arrived home and made up his story, convincing his family and the entire village that Ada had been eaten alive by a crocodile on his way back. Everyone was convinced and consoled the young man. Life went on. Ade got the plantation and basked in his newly acclaimed wealth with a secret buried in the depths of his belly. For months, Boma the parrot kept on returning to where Ada had been buried to mourn the stranger like he had mourned his owner. One afternoon, while perched on a tree around the spot, a herbalist from a neighboring village in search of herbs started to adjust his bag on the spot where Ada was buried. For the first time in almost a year, the parrot began singing, "Oh no, Ada don't sleep, oh, brother bury you, oh, Ade bury you, oh, oh no, Ada don't sleep, oh, brother bury you, oh, Ade bury you, oh." The herbalist was shocked to hear the parrot singing, and even more shocked at the lyrics of the song. Interestingly, the parrot had memorized the name of the siblings as he heard them call each other several times. The herbalist was puzzled and ran back to the village to report to the chief. After hearing the herbalist's report, he ordered the herbalist and some other guards to go to the said location and dig if they would find anything. As they arrived and began to dig, Mboma the parrot kept singing, "Oh no, Ada don't sleep, oh, brother bury you, oh, Ade bury you, oh, oh no, Ada don't sleep, oh, brother bury you, oh, Ade bury you, oh." And then he followed the men with the bones back to the chief's palace, singing all the way non-stop. The chief summoned the Ambi family to the village square, and in front of the entire village, he questioned Ade, who repeated the made up story. When the bones were presented and the parrot began to sing again, causing agitation among the crowds of villagers, seeing that he had been exposed, Ade tried to flee but was caught by the palace guards, sentenced and taken to the village dungeon. Heartbroken, the parents returned home and remained in constant weeping. The chief refused to sanction them. He explained that he would leave them to their conscience, the inner judge who would torment them for the rest of their days. At every turn, they faced mockery from the villagers who questioned their parenting choices. Boma, on the other hand, was adopted by the chief and adored by the whole village. He spent the rest of his days entertaining the chief with melodious tunes, eating his fill and living merry. Indeed, there is nothing hidden under the sun. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.